You're listening to Christopher LaMontagne. Welcome to my world. In this video, I'll be building 3 barn doors in one opening. And the concept behind this is, historically, you would have one smaller door that would open inward in case there was snow buildup outside, so making the door easy to open, and you could escape if you had to, and also keeping the heat within the building. And you would open the 2 larger doors when you had equipment or animals that you wanted brought in. So please enjoy the film. In a previous film, I was making the joints that I'm actually getting ready to put together, as you see here. So if you go on my YouTube channel, you can see these parts being made up. So the strategy is I'm building the largest door first. These doors are what they call plank on frame doors. They're a little heavier duty than the clinch doors that you probably saw in an earlier video. Clinch doors are better for lighter doors, so the very small door that's in the middle of these 2 will be a clinch door. So I didn't really film putting that one together because I figured it would be redundant. You can see me putting one of those clinch doors together in an earlier video. So this door is just about all clamped up and glued. Just getting ready to peg it. The frames on these doors are about 2 inches thick, and they're white oak. Very heavy, durable, very strong. The planks are going to be white pine. And then I'm using traditional cut common nails, which you'll see coming up in the video here shortly. So once it's all clamped up, I will peg it. So here I'm getting ready to peg. In an earlier video, you could see I was making the small white oak pegs. So I've just put a little bit of glue on them and saw them. This one here, okay, yeah, now you might have saw this in the earlier video. I'm making ribbed nails just to get a little more strength out of the nail. Helps it grip the frame. I'm just starting to nail getting ready to nail the planking, the half lap white pine planking. I pre-drill when I do these only because the oak is just very difficult to nail into, and so if you have a pilot hole, it helps first. So what I'm doing right here is every now and then you'll have a board that has a crook in it. So I clamped it to straighten it out. So that's why you see the extra clamp there. And then as soon as I nail it, I release the clamp usually. These are the antique strap hinges I'll be using. I'll spray paint them black. I'm using different pintles though for these. These are threaded pintles, not lag pintles. The advantage of these is they're much easier to install, especially on very thick posts, and they're better for heavier doors. So that's why I'm using these type of pintles. So I'm putting these second largest door on first. I have some wedges there, so I'm shimming it into place. You know, I like to have a little bit of a gap below, a gap above, so there's no binding when you open and close it. I put a temporary clamp up top. The door doesn't fall on me. And once I'm content where it is, I'll drill the first hole for the pintle hinge, and then I actually use the strap hinge as a wrench and twist it in. So I'm drilling the upper one there. That was a tough one to drill. I think I hit some knots, some heavy knots in the white oak post. So the pinto's in, so now I'm actually lagging the strap hinge to the door. Once I'm content where the door is and placed and everything. There's lots of advantages to strap hinges. They actually help keep the door stable as well, and they are very strong. I'm very disappointed in hardware today that you get in hardware stores, and so if I can't use antique stuff or reproduction stuff, I'll even make my own sometimes. And actually I will be making some cane bolts to hold these doors shut with the slide latch on the smaller door, which you'll see further along in the video. Alright, so that door opens and closes fine. So now I'm planking the large door, pretty much doing it the same way as the smaller door there. Pre-drilling into the white oak frame and then nailing the 1-inch thick white pine half-lap planks. You can probably see those stripes you see on the boards are sticker stains. Sometimes you get that. The stickers that I put between the boards make them dry, but sometimes you get a little mildew. I may eventually paint this barn, but in the meantime, the weathering will catch up with the rest of the wood. You barely even notice those marks. I've had some success in the past removing them with bleach. But for what it is, it's a primitive door. And, like I said, in another year or two, the patina you see on the rest of the barn will catch up with the doors. So I'm getting ready to lift that one in place. That's a pretty heavy door right there. So I just kind of have to get it set up into as close to the place I want it before I lift it, because they're just a real pain to move around. Clamping up top, and I'll wedge it underneath some shims with the gap I want. And once it's pretty fit, I'm just kind of laying out where the strap hinges are going to go. It's important that the strap hinges line up with the frame on the door. You have a lot more strength if you do it that way. So where that strap hinge is, one of the rails in the door is beneath the plank boards. You don't want to just screw the strap hinge to the planks. There's just not enough tooth there for it. The transom windows above these doors, I'll be probably making those in a future video. Might not get to those for a while, just got so much going on. But it's on my list of things to do. Okay, so this strap hinge is almost fastened. And tap in the other one. You can see the difference with those threaded pintos. Much easier to install. I can just pound those in versus the lag types, and then they're bolted inside on the post with a washer and a nut. I only use the lag type pintos for smaller doors. Again, those lags are going through the 1-inch planks into the oak frame underneath the planks in the door. You can see the knee braces on the inside of the door. That really stops the door from sagging over time. So it's really not just a looks thing. These are to help the doors from sagging. A lot of people want to put that look on the outside of the door. It's kind of stupid. It was never done because all those rails and framing, it catches the water, and then eventually all the joints would rot out. It's really a stupid way to do it. You see it architecturally on a lot of buildings, but it's not, historically, it's not correct. So I like to do things to make them last, not just strictly for looks. Okay, I'm starting to cut some of the hardware out that I'm making for the cane bolts. These are going to be the latches, the latch holes for the cane bolts. This is just some angle iron I had hanging around, and so it worked out good material for what I'm doing. So I'm just cutting them with a cutoff wheel, angle grinder. I could have probably found some good reproduction hardware if I wanted to really look a lot on the internet, but this stuff is so, most of the hardware out there now is just garbage. It's just so tinny and cheap. So especially for heavy doors, I want the hardware to match the weight of the door. So in this case, I decided to make the hardware. Okay, I'm cutting some 5/8 rod that I'm going to be using for the cane bolts. This is just some old steel rod I had around my scrap iron pile. So I'm cutting two of them, two big ones for the base of the larger doors. And I'm going to heat it up momentarily to make the cane, or the hook on the top. There it is. I'm using some MAP gas. It's real hot. Get them things so that I can bend them. There it is there, bending it in one of my anvils. I'm doing two like this. And then I didn't film it, but I'm doing some two smaller ones as well for the top of the doors, which you'll see further in the video. Okay, so now I'm laying out the holes for the cane bolts and the latches. And I'm drilling them right there. And then now I'm going to shape them on the outside. Also have the holes to bolt them into the door. I'm just rough shaping them on top again with the angle grinder. And then I'll also grind them by hand. Get a nice rounded over look. So I'm shaping them right there. A small bench grinder. There was a lot of work in these doors. Aside from making the doors themselves, I mean, I spent a little bit of time making the hardware, but in the end, I think it was worth it because, like I said, there's so much garbage out there. I mean, if I had the time, I could have probably made some nice forged ones. I don't have my forge set up to do some blacksmithing at the moment. So now I'm using this old saw blade here. I'm using the spring steel to make a pressure spring to keep the cane bolt from sinking down when I'm opening the doors. I don't want them to sink in the dirt unless I want to put them in the dirt intentionally. You see, it's very springy. I never throw away scrap steel because especially old saw blades comes in handy for times like this. So here I am, I'm fastening one of the cane bolt latches, the base of the door. So I like to get just one screw in there first, kind of get it perpendicular. and I'll drill the rest, bolt them in. I prefer lag screws over regular standard screw heads, just because I like to be able to put some torque into it. And it just, to me, it looks a little more historically accurate. I probably could have spray painted this hardware black as well, but it was inside, and over time it'll get its own nice little patina. So I'm doing, here I am putting the latch for the bottom of the cane bolt. And so that spring is going to go just above where my hands are, you'll see in a few minutes. Alright, so I'm putting one screw in just to establish it. Make sure it's perpendicular. Okay, so here's the spring steel for the stabilizer. I'm putting rounding over the edge of it so that it doesn't dig into the cane bolt. You'll see when it's set up. So once I got that one side rounded, then I'll just bend it by hand, get it somewhat 90 degrees. Okay, so now you'll see screwing it in here just with some round head screws. Just needed some 3/4 inch screws because the spring doesn't really need to be held there that strongly. It just to keep it in place. So put a couple screws in there, and that's going right into the pine. So what that does is, like I said, when you're opening the door, you want the cane bolt to stay up on its own so that it doesn't drag in the dirt. So now, see, I'll just push it in there. See, now it just keeps it stabilized. And then, if once you open the door, you may want it pushed in the dirt just to hold the doors from being blown in the wind. So here I am now drilling the cane bolt hole into the angle iron that's on the edge of the concrete. That's a 3/16 thick angle iron that I embedded on the edge of the concrete and concrete underneath. So I've got a carbide drill to do both. I do a pilot hole first, and then that's a 5/8 thick carbide bit. And that was really tough to drill, especially the metal there. Hard stuff. Okay, so that's ready for a cane bolt there. Now, trying it in there. Yeah, fits good. So I'll do the same thing the other door. Now, this is the hardware for the upper cane bolt. Basically installing it the same way. Now this is just pretty much a friction fit. There's a way to keep the bolt up there if it does drop down. Basically, I just put another lag screw underneath the cane lever and then just turn it left or right, and that helps keep it up. So I just wanted to get a mirror location from the other door. It's already been done. Clamps holding it in place, as you can see there. So this cane bolt's much smaller. I think I used some 1/2 inch round stock for that one. So after these two catches are bolted, I'll make a layout indent to that top jamb so that I have a location for the cane bolt hole. This one's almost finished. As see, I just tap with a hammer. They give me a little indent on the jamb, so now I can release the door. And there's my indent. Let's get it centered, and then now I can drill it. And that should fit nicely. That's it. Upper cane bolt done. Alright, now I'm making the slide latch for the smallest door, which is a clinch nail door, which is I already made it. I didn't do the filming because, as I said earlier, if you want to see how to make one of those doors, I have, you know, I think in my video shorts I show making one of those and also for the upper barn doors they were clinched. So I just didn't film it again because it would be too redundant. Yeah, there's one side of the slide latch. These are white oak. And I'm just putting some chamfers on them, taking all the sharp edges off. Nothing real fancy. Now, there's the door already made. Okay, so you can see the clinch nails coming through. The braces are white oak too on this door, only about a little less than an inch thick, and the pine planks are about an inch thick, half lap. So I'm making the slot for the slide latch. Do a few plunge cuts here. And I'm just kind of taking off the sharp corners, the lower edge, so that the water doesn't run in there in a driving rainstorm. Now with this latch here, I'm actually using a piece of 1-inch brass pipe that I had hanging around. I've also made them, the handles in wood, but you know, brass will last outside in the weather, and I won't have to worry about fixing it or replacing it for a while. And probably my lifetime it should last. And so there's the brass pipe, and I plug the ends with a piece of bronze plug, and that gets soldered in. Just kind of wedged it in there, the threads, and then dropping a little bit of solder in it. Then I'll cut that plug off, flush it up. There it is, cutting off the bronze plug. And I'll just sand it flush, take the sharp edges off. Pretty much done. So now I'll have to fit that into the latch itself, drilling the hole into the slide latch, which is also white oak. And I'll put just a little nail in there to keep the brass handle from sliding out. And I just tap it in, and then I can take it right out also when I'm refitting it. Works good. Put a little bit of butcher's wax on them, and that helps. Now I'm making the jamb for the small door. That's just a piece of pine, and I'm leaving like about a 3/4 inch jamb for the door to shut against on the inside. Again, the importance of the small door opening inward is to pretty much protect you in case of a snowstorm, so you can still open the door inward. If you had to push it outward, you know, you get a foot of snow out there, and it's a pain. You end up crawling out the window of the barn or something. Right here, this is just a little weather strip between the two doors. Stops weather from coming in between, driving wind or rain. There's also a jamb there, but this is just an extra weather strip, keeping the rain out. There's a little copper ledge above that door, as you see where the transom is, the window transom is going to go. Copper actually helps to preserve the wood, so these doors are opening nicely, as you can see. You can see the setup. So the big doors will hardly be opened, only when I'm bringing, you know, some equipment in or something. and I'll pretty much use the small man door most of the time. Here's some close-ups of the framing and the heavy-duty knee braces. So I'm out the door so you can see how it closes there. Cane bolts down. Now, if you want to go extreme, you could actually insulate these doors, the inside of the frame, and then cover it up with pine boards if you want. But I kind of like the look on the inside, so I probably won't insulate it. But it can be done. And that's pretty much it. Close-ups, cane bolts. And those are the 3 barn doors and 1. Okay, everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. It's real easy. Just hit that subscribe link. It'll be in the upper left-hand corner towards the end of the film. And also hit the notification bell so that there you'll know when all the new films come out. There's some great films coming up in the future. See you again soon.